Hello, welcome to another episode, another instalment of JLC TV with me, Jack Walsh.
And me, Luke Murray.
So today we're going to be going into Operation Wednesday. This is where we get Luke, our operations director, on it as well, just to talk about a little bit what it takes to keep this ship afloat. And now we're in the festive period. Things are happening. So Luke, why don't you start us off then? What's been going on?
So it's been pretty busy at the start of December. We've been seeing 190 orders a day, so that's kept on for the last few months. So it's good to see it's busy going into it. But as we said, we need to keep pushing, do what we can now for the full weeks in December, because it does quieten off and the volumes will drop towards the end, bringing that average down. So yeah, it's been a good start to December, just doing a bit of Christmas planning, seeing how that will affect the operation when we bring forward our collection times, because APC, obviously who we use, they obviously shut off earlier themselves, so yeah, just doing a bit of planning. And obviously we've got a lot of people on holiday at Christmas, like to have that time off, so yeah, it's just doing a bit of planning really this week and getting everything prepped for the end of the month.
Cool. Yeah, and it's an interesting time just because it's not really a full month because of where we've got Christmas at the end of this month. A lot of people are off. Obviously we've got holidays as well, so it's being able to try and navigate through that and keep the business moving. We still will be open during the times where everyone is off, but we're still going to be open as well. So we're still going to be just trying to get orders out from a sales point of view as well. I'd say this week is critical for us in terms of getting orders in, getting relaying that information onto our customers so they can best prepare for when their orders arrive as well. So it's a real hard push for us this week. Certainly from a sales point of view, we need to try and do the bulk of it this week. So in order for us to have a good stockpile for when we all close up.
Do you find they come on board with that as you're pushing the customers?
It's not. Do you know what? Because we only deal with resellers, we're a couple of steps away from the decision maker. So by the time we can, and to be honest, our resellers are pretty good and they understand the score as well, because they've got to get things in. More often than not, the bulk of the orders that aren't entirely JLC, it's like maybe there's other products on there that we don't supply. So they are unified in our proposal. So we're pushing forward. So we're trying to get orders in this week. The customer knows that, the reseller knows that, so I find that it's often well received and it's pretty standard business practice. Yeah, but yeah, it's not without its challenges, and yeah, we're still a long way to go for this month. We're not quite off, but we're quite off our target at the moment, so we are still pushing. But it's looking good at the moment. We've got some big projects, so yeah, fingers crossed.
It's an interesting time of year, isn't it? Because it generally goes quiet towards the back end of December, but like from an operational point of view, that there's a lot of planning because there's even more moving parts. You're running with more of a skeleton crew. Yeah. So while it's obviously quieter and it's technically easier because the volumes are a lot less than we expect, it still is a challenge with putting all the pieces in place. You're spreading people even thinner than you usually would.
Yeah, come on through.
We're right in the middle here.
And more often than not, it's not just us that did you fall over there? More often than not, because we've got customers off as well. It has like a ripple effect. There's only got to be one or two people out of the chain, and then that has a ripple effect further down the line. So if you want to look at how things are done, just look inward, and then that's amplified because the resellers that we deal with are so much bigger. Yeah. So they've got a few people off, and then all it takes is one decision maker off. Then yeah, you're just going to have a ripple effect of delays. So yeah, to try and manage those expectations, even though it does get quieter, it is amplified by people just being off.
Yeah. Different challenge, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah, it's good.
It is good, and like you say, there's a bit of a grey area around Christmas because a lot of our competitors, they do slow down, or maybe they stop, maybe they shorten their days, maybe they don't come in at all. We've got some of our competitors actually that finish soon, so where they finish, we're going to be picking up that business. No rest for the wicked. We'll keep moving forward, and we'll still try and operate, and we'll still manage expectations as well. I think where businesses they close up a little bit early. It gives us a chance to JLC to try and swoop in and take some of that business. Yeah, good. So it's got to be. So what else has been going on then?
Operations have been running pretty smoothly this week. I know you're involved. We've had a couple of little issues with some of our crediting terms of our customers, haven't we? So I'm not going to name them. It's been quite a big challenge, like within the operation. Well, I say it's more finance, but obviously in terms of like credits for customers, that affects you, and it also affects operations. With any customers that we have on stock, we need to make sure that we're obviously not shipping those orders, and in the background we're actually getting a resolution to any sort of credit limits that have been breached. So yeah, it's been quite a big learning curve for us the last sort of week, hasn't it? As we're starting to ship, say, more devices and the turnover of our orders are increasing, that is obviously pushing the credit limits of some of our bigger customers. So we now have to be more on the ball with when we do breach the credit limits of our big customers. We need to be making sure our processes are really streamlined and we're not going over our agreed limit without the correct authorization. So there's been a lot of internal processes and decision making on how we're going to deal with that moving forward, isn't there?
It's an interesting one because it's one of those good problems. Obviously, the bigger that we grow, the larger that we grow, the more obviously the top line is becoming increasingly is growing. So it's just one of those problems that we're occurring at the moment, and like I said, it's a good problem as long as we're all managing expectations. And as well, I guess for us is to safeguard the cash. Cash is king. Of course, we've got suppliers as well that need to be paid, and so we need to be paid as well. So it's one of those things we're learning as we go. We're in a good place right now. I think we're ahead of it now. But it's just one of those things, and certainly around this time where we're seeing an increase in volume and orders, there is going to be a risk of exposure as well. So we just need. I think we're all unified on it here, and we've obviously got finance, we've got logistics as well, operations, sales, all unified, all shoulder to shoulder. So now I think we're all good.
Yeah, that's it. And it's one of those things. As the business grows and develops, there's always going to be these growing pains where something, an issue has potentially come up that we've never had before. So sometimes it's like, who's dealing with that? What do we need for that? And there's always new processes been put in. Even weekly sometimes, between different departments. So that's what I really enjoy about the job is you're never staying still with a company that's growing so quickly as JLC, and you've always got to be on the ball and vigilant because there's new things popping up all the time that you have to put in new things for. So it's a good problem to have. Learn and move on.
Yeah, in theory we shouldn't suffer the same stress twice because we learnt from the first time. In theory, the theory, and then there's the practical. The theory is great, but then when it comes to the practical, it's often very different. I often find that, what did Mike Tyson say? Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. So I'm not saying we're getting punched in the face here at JLC, but we are learning. But like Luke said, it is important for us to go through it in order for us to put processes so we don't encounter that issue again. And I guess part of being part of an SME is that we feel those a little bit more so because we're breaching that barrier into becoming into the next stage of the business. We're turning over a considerably lot more now than we did just a year ago, I would say, just because of devices alone. That's going to push us right up there, and we're entering a stratosphere that is new to us. So as in a growing business as well, it's important for us to tackle them head on. And we've got good people across all departments that can unify, and we can develop an appropriate response. So it's been good. Yeah,
for sure. So apart from that, it's all been good. I said I was in Almelo last week.
Nice. So
that was good to support Jeffrey for a little bit, throw around some ideas, and they're actually in a similar position because, as I said on last week's episode, we do 190 a day dispatched, and they're dispatching about 12 a day, so it's a lot less. But they're going through the very sort of primal stage of then levelling up. So if they're doing 12 orders a day, what does it look like for them when they do 20, 25 a day? How are they going to deal with the new volumes of extra orders coming in, the processing side of things? So it was good to kind of share the experiences of what we sort of do here. I know it's not on the same scale yet, but it's good to speak ops people to ops people to give him some guidance. And the same with Emre as well. They were saying, what do you do when you've got no more room in your warehouse, which is a thing we're always tackling here. So it was good to just show them a few reports, slow moving items, how they can differentiate between what's a fast moving product and what they need to maybe condense down that doesn't sell as much. So it was a really productive week out there, and it was good to have a bit of change of scenery as well.
Yeah, it's always good going out there, certainly with the guys as well.
Always eventful.
Yeah. I bet it was. It's good, and I feel like as well. Certainly from my point of view, I guess for me is what I like about the job is when I'm teaching somebody about sales or I'm teaching somebody about how the process, it further cements my understanding of sales. When you teach something to somebody, you master your craft because you understand it, what it takes. Like for example, you sharing that information with Emre with the 20, 30 orders a day, fairly minimal compared to what we used to here, but it fully cements the foundations of what makes this company and what makes your processes solid and unique. So I feel like it's always like a positive.
Yeah, it is good. It's good. You feel confident in yourself, like when you sometimes maybe a little bit hesitant on certain things, but when you actually explain to people, you're like, actually, I know this pretty well.
Yeah.
You don't even realise yourself sometimes, and then when it comes out, oh yeah, thanks, that was really helpful. You're like, oh, yeah, that was quite helpful.
Yeah, it was
actually.
helpful. Helpful to you. Helpful to me.
Yeah.
Both party wins.
So it's good. Yeah, it's definitely good.
Yeah.
Like I said, those guys over there are smashing it, and it's looking really positive for Europe, which is good for the whole
business.
group,
I mean, from a sales point of view as well, the guys are coming up a lot more. We've got like a WhatsApp chat we mentioned earlier. So we post in orders over a particular value, and it's good to see those European guys making their names on the board now. So sometimes where the UK is falling a little bit behind, actually Europe have come in and they've stepped up. I think that like yesterday or the day before they might have done the first half of the day. They actually covered us. So which is quite rare. It's just good, and it's nice to have a segment, a faction of the business that is actually doing that, because whereas before it's been predominantly UK that have been keeping up the EU.
Yeah, for sure.
Side thing, so it's nice.
And now they're starting to make profit as well. I said to the guys here, like, we need to look after the EU, whether we're sending stock over, we're communicating with them. They are our sister company.
Yeah.
We need to look after them, because ultimately, if they do well, we do well. Like when obviously we were losing money in Europe, that puts a strain on the UK. And in the same breath, once the EU starts to do well, that takes the stress off the UK. So it's really important that we are one team with EU and BV, because as I said, their success is our success, and if they're doing well and they're making profit, it means the pressure's going to be off here, and we can start to even, like I say, that the money side of things, start to use more, invest more into what we're doing here. So yeah, both companies are completely in tandem. So
it's a fantastic learning experience being a part of an SME, because you're exposed to so many areas of the business. I mean, we're by definition we're now branching into European markets, so we're learning about how European markets operate, how we can sell to them more effectively, and we're just learning so much. Like whereas if you were in part of a big business, you would probably just have your role and that was it. You wouldn't really necessarily talk to any other parts of the business. But whereas with us, it's just because where we're situated and our positions, we do learn so much.
I think that's such a great point, because previously in corporate places I've worked at, you get given like a niche area to look after, and that's your area. But in like an SME such as JLC, I'm heavily involved with the finance side. You're heavily involved with what's going on in purchasing. I'm completely involved with sales, with liaison with you guys. Whereas in corporate companies, you just deal with operations. That's it. You don't really liaise with anything else.
No, you don't. No.
I've learned so much being at JLC.
You do,
Just putting your hand in, just even being involved and listening to conversations with people in different departments, and it makes you a more better rounded individual for like in a professional sense.
Definitely, and you're more like a lot more confident being able to answer questions that necessarily isn't tailored to your role. It's always positive, and I'm sure, Luke, we're going to look back on these videos and think, oh yeah, remember when we were doing that much, when we were doing this much?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
definitely.
I say to the guys now, like when we sometimes we set our standards really high, and sometimes we beat ourselves up over not achieving something. But I always say to them, as long as we're progressing, look where we were this time last year. Even though we might not be achieving this, we're still miles better than what we were doing. So it's about keeping perspective and saying, right, we might not be the best at X, Y, or Z now, but as long as we're better than we were last year, that's all I can ask for.
Oh wow! Look,
enter Beaksy.
Enter Beaksy.
Oh no!
Yes, come on in. About time. How you doing? Look, we've got the.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So how's it going? You right?
Good. Sorry, what have I walked in on?
This is Operation Wednesday.
Operation
Wednesday.
Operation Wednesdays. That's great.
Yeah.
And what is it today?
We were just saying about how we're planning for Christmas, how it goes a bit quieter.
Yeah.
It's been pretty busy so far for December. And we're just.
I wondered why Sarah was hiding.
Yeah.
I was like, who's she hiding from? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's
busy.
it really.
Yeah, nice.
It's
good. It's really busy today.
It's good filming it here because we get everyone by mistake.
Yeah.
So you have no choice. You open the
She
door.
didn't warn me well enough. Straight in.
What are your thoughts for December?
It's really busy at the moment. Obviously, it gets really quiet, but we still usually find on that quiet week, even though there's only a few orders, they're like really chunky orders that come in. So I reckon it'll be right. Obviously, operations are constantly busy because of the deliveries, but we're quite quiet upstairs Christmas week.
Yeah.
Sales.
It's good that we're seeing the larger orders though, because that often is an indicator of how the market's going.
Yeah.
And like I said in the beginning, it's not always just our JLC kit; it's the other kit on there as well that is bolstering that order. So if we're seeing spending, that is often a positive reflection. And we deal with the majority of the resellers here in the UK and soon to be Europe as well. So it's a good finger on the pulse tactic.
Yes.
Certainly if we're seeing orders. So.
And it offsets the lower run rate as well, and obviously with the orders dropping,
Yeah.
counts for that lower. So yeah, hopefully we'll go into January in a good position.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, I need to pick up a prescription, so I'm going to have
Okay,
to...
well,
Thanks for stepping by.
No
Thanks,
worries.
not let's get anyway.
Thanks, guys. I don't suppose you could ring about 4 people to get them to the
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll do it. You carry on.
Yeah. Thank you. It's very kind. Right. Well, that's it. I think that.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You've had a
We've
good
got.
taste of it today. What's going on?
It's been good. Yeah. Tomorrow. Right. We've got. Is it Secret Santa special?
Oh,
Secret Santa
That's
special
you.
tomorrow.
That's you tomorrow, isn't it?
Well, I expect it to be everyone. Well, I don't know how we're going to run that, but we'll put our heads together. We might be coming, but be sure to check in tomorrow. We've got our Secret Santa, which means that we've all been allocated somebody internally to purchase for. We've got a threshold. I can't promise what the gifts are going to be, if they're going to be PG or not. More often than not, they could be on the line, so it depends.
It gets raised to me if it's been over the line. I've only had one. I'm not going to say what it was, but it got raised to me once. One went over the line, and someone gave me a nudge and said, "Luke, I don't think this should go," and it was a valid decision. Yeah, valid.
Really? They actually brought it to you first before.
No, someone snitched on them and said they've got an offensive gift. So they said to me, Luke, I think you should make a call on this one, and I did, and I pulled it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
So hopefully you won't get any of them tomorrow on the live.
I reckon I know who that is, and I reckon they probably didn't learn from last time, so we'll see. So be sure to check in tomorrow, guys. Same time, 1 p.m. Pre-recorded live.
Yeah, we could do it live tomorrow maybe.
Pre-recorded might be safer.
Pre-recorded probably safer.
Yeah. We might do a pre-recorded tomorrow, guys. But until then, thank you so much for stepping by.
Have a great day.